Hey everybody, welcome to 2018, a new year for you and a new year for movies. But before we go into the new year, let's look back at 2017 and my personal top 10 favorite movies of the year 2017. So for those of you who can't figure out, this is going to be my personal top 10 favorite list of movies that I've seen in 2017. They have to be theatrically released, and the movies on this list, they're more of my personal favorite movies. I may find a movie that may be better than one of these movies, but not on this list. That's okay. I'm just one person. You can have your own opinion. That's the internet, folks. And of course, I didn't see every movie that I've wanted to yet in 2017. Of course, I didn't see some movies that I'm going to be seeing in the next couple of weeks because of Oscar and award season, especially these movies. I'm going to be seeing these movies soon, so this list may change in a couple weeks. I don't know, but currently, this date of filming, these are going to be my personal top 10 favorite movies of this past year. And as of this recording, I've currently seen 75 movies released in this past year, so this was a pretty hard list to come by. And before we start off with this list, let me just say some honorable mentions that aren't on my top 10, but should still be acknowledged as some of my favorite movies of the year. These movies include The Greatest Showman, Rough Night, Wonder, Girls Trip, American Made, Captain Underpants, the first epic movie, John Wick Chapter 2, Kong Skull Island, Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle, Spider-Man Homecoming, Dunkirk, Thor Ragnarok, Wonder Woman, It, and The Big Sick. And now the time has come for the top 10 favorite movies of 2017, and the number 10 pick is Lady Bird, directed and written by Greta Gerwig, is one of the most realistic movies I've seen this year. It has such an amazing, realistic script that I can see people easily relating to. It has phenomenal performances all around, especially by Laurie Metcalf. It's also a very surprisingly short movie, which is very beneficial. It's only an hour-and-a-half movie. It is surprisingly really funny with its cast all around. It has phenomenal performances, and it is extremely well written. The reason I would say this movie isn't higher on my list is probably because I didn't feel that emotionally changed by it at the end. It didn't move me in any way. I just watched it and I'm like, this is a great movie. Coming in at number 9 to fit its title is Blade Runner 2049. You see what I did there? Honestly, I had no intention of ever seeing Blade Runner 2049. I never saw the original. I didn't want to see this, but it was getting great reviews, and I love the director Denis Villeneuve. I believe that's how you pronounce his name. Loved his work in Prisoners, loved his work in Arrival, and so I was kind of pushed into seeing this movie, and what I got was something beautiful. This is such an orgasmic movie. I visually loved Blade Runner 2049. The cinematography, unbelievable. The visual effects and the score, of course, are great. The performances all around are really good, and this is a near 3-hour movie, and while it does feel long, it is surprisingly really quick for a 3-hour movie, and I really like that about Blade Runner 2049. It was a huge surprise to me, and I'm glad I saw it. My number 8 film of 2017 is one that I reviewed over the summer, and that is Wind River. For those of you who didn't see my review, I'm going to be putting it right over here. I go much more into depth into that movie in the review, so you can click that. But for a good quickie about this movie, I really loved it. It was such an original idea about a serious topic that is happening today in this world that I never knew about, and it is extremely well written by Taylor Sheridan. I believe that's how you pronounce his name. He has written some very good movies, especially Hell or High Water, and it was his directorial debut. It was so well written, and it was visually beautiful with the great wintry plains. The performances from Elizabeth Olsen and Jeremy Renner are great, and the movie was a basic murder mystery narrative, and then it twists you in a way at the end, and I felt that twist. It was strong. I just sat there at the end, and I just had to absorb what I saw. This movie is deep, and if you haven't seen it, you should check it out. It's sad that it's not getting as much recognition as it is in this award season. Highly recommend. My number 7 pick is probably the most overlooked movie of 2017. I really doubt you've heard of this movie, but it is colossal. For those of you who don't know, this movie stars Anne Hathaway and Jason Sudeikis, and it is about these two friends from high school, I believe, back in their hometown, and Anne Hathaway discovers that if she's on this playground at a certain time, there is a monster that surfaces on the other side of the world, and it is such an original premise. Like, I've never heard of something as original as this movie, and it's a lot of fun. It has great performances all around. The movie does have some weird character switches, especially with Jason Sudeikis by the end of the movie, but again, I've never seen something so original as this movie, and it has a surprisingly really great third final act. This movie is basically like an independent version of Pacific Rim. If you haven't checked this out or even heard this movie, I highly recommend it. Coming in at number 6 is Coco. Pixar, you've done it again. For those of you who don't know, I'm a huge fan of Pixar, and if you saw my review of Cars 3, I was not a huge fan of it, and I was so happy that Pixar went back to original storytelling after their dud of Cars 3. This is such an original story. Of course, it is visually beautiful. The animation is gorgeous. And I love how this movie shows us a side of a culture that a lot of people in North America don't really know that much about. I didn't know that much about Dia de los Muertos, and now I do. Thank you, Coco. But I was surprised of how mature this movie was for a kid's movie, and even for a Pixar movie. Again, the visual visuals are beautiful. It has such a great score. The music is so good. I still listen to it a month after I've seen it. It may have some of the same narrative tracks as some of Pixar's other films, but it's done in a non-cliche way that still feels fresh. Honestly, if you don't like or even don't feel warm by the movie Coco, there might be something wrong with you. Here it is, folks, the nitty-gritty. We are getting to our top 5, and my number 5 pick is one of the most original and biggest surprises of 2017, and that is Get Out. Yes, Jordan Peele, known for making comedy, has directed and written a horror movie known as one of the best horror movies of the modern time. Would I say that? It's more of a thriller, but at the same time, I still love the mystery and the originalness of Get Out. I like the very hidden social commentary of the movie, that you can still watch this movie for the first time and absorb the basics, and then when you rewatch it, you start to absorb and understand the little elements that Jordan Peele was hinting at us throughout this movie, and I thought it was really clever. This movie does take a while to get to the nitty-gritty of the story, but when it does, it is such a surprising and thrilling story. I wish that Hollywood would learn that we would want more movies like Get Out. Original, great movies that speak to audience members. Coming in at number 4 is the conclusion to a 17-year saga, and that is Logan. Oh, Logan. This movie is heartbreaking. Hugh Jackman and Patrick Stewart as their final performances as the X-Men characters are phenomenal. This movie is surprisingly such a heartbreaking movie. Both of them are phenomenal. The little girl in this movie, X-23, I forget the actress name, but she is one to look out for. She is amazing. This is a superhero movie, but it's not your average superhero movie, and I like the risk that Fox took while making this movie, showing how you can still have an adult, mature superhero movie. This is basically a character-driven western that still has those superhero elements in it. And the ending of this movie is such a satisfying conclusion to the character of Wolverine and just 17 years of what Hugh Jackman has done for us. It is a fantastic performance. I love Logan. And this one's a tearjerker, folks. Ugh. Logan! My number 3 pick for this last year is one that's the most Oscar contendee of this past year, and that is 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. Just like Wind River, I knew absolutely nothing going into this movie. I never saw a trailer. I knew a very vague plot of this movie. And what I got was an extremely original movie that I had no idea where it was going. And that's what I really loved about this movie, because you get an overall plot of this movie. You see where certain characters' minds are, but you don't know where it's going, and while that can hinder a little bit, that's why it's not higher, I was continuously interested of where this movie is going. And the script is phenomenal. I love the script. In the first 30 minutes of this movie, you feel like you know all the characters in this small town of Sam Rockwell, Peter Dinklage, Woody Harrelson, Frances McDermott. You feel like you know them even though you don't really know them at all, and that just proves to show how well written this movie is. And this movie is surprisingly very funny in a dark, humorous way, and I found that very satisfying. I love what they did with some of the characters, especially Frances McDermott, who has an amazing performance in this movie. I was pleasantly surprised by 3 Billboards, and I absolutely loved it. For my number 2 picks of the year, this was really hard to choose from. I kept on switching back and forth, and even though I'm saying what I'm saying right now, it may probably change later on because opinions do change, but here we go. My number 2 pick of the movie is the one I reviewed over the summer that I absolutely loved, and that is Baby Driver. For those of you who haven't seen my review, I'm going to be putting it right down here that you can watch. If you don't know, I'm a huge fan of stylistic movies. If you have great style or just slick editing, I would absolutely love it, and this movie gave me exactly that. I love the small hints and Easter eggs that Edgar Wright had throughout this movie that are really clever, and this movie uses music in such a unique way that actually pushes the plot forward. I just love the performances overall. It is such an amazingly fun movie. I love the fast pace of it. Edgar Wright has an amazing direction, slick editing. It's a very fun, energetic movie. It's exactly what you need in the summer, and it has such great replay value. Here it is, folks, the number 1 movie of 2017, and when I think of 2017, I think this is the best movie of the entire year, and that movie is War for the Planet of the Apes. For those of you who don't know or didn't watch my review back in 2014 of my top 10 movies, I love the reboot Planet of the Apes series. I think that they are so well written. Andy Serkis has amazing performance, and they are visually amazing. And again, War for the Planet of the Apes has exactly that. And this movie has way more emotion. It's a very somber film, and War for the Planet of the Apes just shows that you can have a mature, somber, adult, artsy, big budgeted summer movie, and this gives you exactly this. Of course, visually, cinematography, visual effects, amazing. I still don't understand how these movies haven't gotten an award for either visual effects or Andy Serkis for Best Actor. He is phenomenal. When Andy Serkis stops doing motion capture, we are all going to be very upset because he is remarkable in this. And as a trilogy, this is one of the most satisfying, perfect endings to a trilogy, and it is such a great character trilogy for the character of Caesar. One thing that really surprised me is what they do in War for the Planet of the Apes actually helps the previous movie Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. This movie may be a little bit long. It is 2.5 hours for some who were expecting more action-filled movie. I thought this was an amazing character, slow burn drama that I didn't even check my watch out once, and that really shows you something. I'm gonna say this again, it is such a visually amazing movie. I loved War for the Planet of the Apes, and I do not think I can say how much I love this movie because I love this movie so much. Ugh, God, such a good movie. So that's my list for 2017. What do you guys think? Do you agree? Do you not agree? Am I missing anything? Whatever you think, you can put the comments below and maybe I'll read it, maybe I won't. Thank you as always for watching, and if you, again, you can watch some of my past reviews over here, and maybe I'll do a top 10 worst movies of 2017. I don't know. If I do, I'm gonna have to see a lot more bad movies because I surprisingly haven't seen that many bad movies this year. So if I do, God help me. Anyway, again, thank you as always for watching. This was a great year, and hope to see you next time.